So here we were. We had a green border around a green inlay, and I realized I was kind of getting ahead of myself here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this into just a border, and the reason for that is that as we do other drawings that kind of go in the border gap, we're just going to put the border on top of everything, clean it all up. So step number one, make sure you want to highlight both things. Now you can see I just did a drag around both things to get it. The other way to do it would be to click on the inside one, hold down shift, and then click on the other one, and again you've got dotted lines. It achieves exactly the same thing, but some people like to do it different ways. And what you'll notice is that underneath path, there's all these different choices. Now the difficulty with these choices is that in some bits of software that you can undo these things way later on. In Inkscape, if I'm going to choose difference, which we're all going to choose here in a second, what you'll see is you can't undo this except if you undo it right away. Okay, so if I do this and then I go off and do a bunch of other things, whoa, the inside green is gone. Hey, look, and if I click there, there's nothing there. Awesome. So if I click here, yes, there's a border, and there's nothing, and there's nothing there. And let's just try zooming in here for a second. I just want to get a good shot of that. So it gave me the black line around the inside box. It gave me the black line around the outside box. And I've got a border now. Well, that's just fantastic. Okay, and you can see as I zoom in, it's still not getting pixelated. That's the beauty of vector graphics, is that these are just lines, mathematical lines. So no matter what I do, they're not going to get pixelated. That nice curve that happens right there is just going to continue to curve. The more I zoom in, it's just going to keep going with me, which is pretty awesome. Alright, so I'm just going to click on this one time, press the number 3, it zooms me back to my selection, which is fantastic. 1 minus, and there we go. So there's our border that we're going to use. I'm all done with this align one for now, so I'm going to X that out. But in layers, I'm going to call this layer border, and I'm going to lock it. Bang. And so now if I try and go and click on it, nothing happens. I can't do anything to it. I would have to unlock it. I just love that. It's just so intuitive. So now we need a new layer, and I'm going to call this layer, let's call it sky. Okay, and for the sky layer, oops, I was going to rename it there for a second. So for the sky layer, I'm just going to grab another rectangle. Again, I know, I'm sorry with all these rectangles. That I swore we'd never use rectangles before, but we're almost done using rectangles, I promise. And I'm just going to go get a nice blue shade of sky. Maybe a little, there we go. That'll do nicely. Now, you and I both know that, that later on, I'm going to move the border one up to the very top. This is my move it right to the very top button. Don't worry about where all the other layers. So that's what it's going to look like in the end. But for right now, I'm going to keep my sky layer on top. And then with my sky layer, I'm actually going to duplicate this object. So there we go, duplicate it. And this is going to become my grass layer. And I really wish I could remember the shade that I used before. So there we go, that will do. And what I can do with my grass layer is I can pull this down, and now you can see that I've got green for the grass, blue for the sky. I'm going to go about 2/3 of the way down, so like halfway would be maybe here. I'm going to go a little bit below that. Okay, so there's my sort of horizon right now, but I actually want another layer. I want a layer called grass, which will sort of make more sense. I'm going to add that below the current layer, just so it continues. Actually, no, I'll put it above. Add, there we go. So now if I put it below, see, just to show you, the sky is there, the grass is there. Well, yeah, but it doesn't even know, there's nothing on the grass layer yet. Huh. Well, there we go. So let's put the grass onto the grass layer. Now, there's a bunch of different choices here. None of those are what I want. If you try and click and drag it over, that won't work either. But what you can do is when your grass is selected and you go to layer, there we go. When you go to the layer choice, then you can move the selection to the layer above or the layer below. Right now, the grass layer is technically below because I'm on the sky layer, which, yeah, you know what, this isn't going to make any sense. So there we go. We had a sky layer, we made a new grass layer, the grass layer is above, click on the grass, and then layer, and I move the selection to the layer above. Now my grass is on the grass layer, and when I do my eyeball thing, you can see the grass turns off. When I do the eyeball on the sky thing, you can see the sky turns off. When I do the eyeball on the border thing, you can see the border turns off. Okay. Apologize for confusing you. It was not intentional. But there we go. We've got grass, we've got sky, and we've got a border. And for right now, later on we're going to put the border at the top. But for right now, we're going to put the border at the bottom just to keep it out of the way. Okay, video 2 ends.